Hey everyone, Hunter from Ron Cichlids here. Finally have a new facility fish update video for you guys. We've been bringing over fish for the past month or so, bringing a load over each week, and finally have enough to do a little video. I know anybody watching this is ready to see some fish, so I'm not gonna waste any time. I'm gonna get right to showing the fish. So we've been filling up the 75 gallons vats and only one 750 so far, but I'll be showing all of them in this video. We'll start off with some long pelvic Madoka Mabuna. There's a really nice male right there. Got a bunch in there. Got a mix of dragon bloods, OB peacocks, OB dragon bloods, blue dragon bloods. Got some nice fire and ice OB dragon blood male right there. And then I've got a few dragon bloods coloring up, a few red blue OBs coloring up in there. And then these were actually in a 75 gallon along with these here. I'll show in a second. I split them into two vats, but I had about 300, I think, in a, I'll say 200 probably in a 75 gallon. So they're pretty cramped. I just been waiting until I had a bigger tank to move them. And so I figured I'll split them into two vats. So they went from 175 gallon to two 275 gallons. So a lot more room. I have a really nice dragon blood in here. Yeah, him right there. I know the vats is hard to see. I don't want to put the net in all these tanks. You'll be able to see the glass tanks much better. And then also you'll be able to see them. I've got a really nice pearl yellow dragon blood down there, or just tangerine dragon blood. But these guys were all bred and raised by us. Some Fuscos. As soon as I moved these guys over here, the males just started coloring up like crazy. But it's crazy for them to color up this small. Most of them are no bigger than 4 inches. That guy's probably 4 inches on the dot. But they were in like a 20 gallon because I got a bunch more in bigger tanks. I didn't need them to grow much faster, so, and been limited on space. So in a 75 gallon now, plenty more room to grow. I've got a vat on the other side I'll show in a second with even more. Got plenty of Fuscos coming up. So one of the first batches of fish we brought over were mainly hybrids slash less valuable fish. That'll be the next few tanks I show. You can see the algae is growing in there pretty good because they've been set up quite a bit longer. So it's been like a month or so since these been put in there. So the algae's really had time to grow. But it's about time to bring over some plecos to start eating algae. But like these are Venistus cross. They're just growing up to see what they look like. I wasn't sure who the female Venistus bred with, and it turns out it was a Taiwan reef. So if you like hybrids, admire hybrids, check out that little guy. Taiwan reef male crossed with a Venistus female. But he was just trying to breed with a female. Yeah, her right there. You can see her. Where'd she go? Oh, right there. Dead center. Her egg tube is starting to go down, but got a few males in here clearing up. And then sorry for the glare. If you haven't noticed already, there's nothing we can really do about it. It's just the way the tanks are set up and the lights. And then the condensation in the tanks, some of them are getting more water than others because the tanks aren't completely cycled yet. So there's going to be some condensation because there's more water than normal going in the tanks. Water's a little colder and then interacting with the hot air from the room. So the ones with less water, condensation isn't bad. And then here's the same thing, Venistus Taiwan cross. This was an earlier batch, so they're older. And I wasn't sure what the female bred was, and apparently it was the same male because I had the female Venistus in a tank with a lot of different males. And she bred with the same male twice within like a 2 month span. So got a really nice one down there. I'll probably end up selling him soon. And I'll be selling all of these for real dirt cheap on the website. Borley cross, another one of the first ones we brought over. I'm not quite sure what the female bred with. The female was the Borley, but they look just like a Borley, but I will not be selling them as a Borley, because they definitely are a bit off. You can see some of the subdom and then uncolored females, how they look. But I forget what male I had in the tank at the time, but. And then here, Nova Blue Longnose cross. These are crossed with the Tetrastigma, I know that. But these guys were all perfect candidates to bring over to make sure the water was fine. If anything went wrong, it's not the end of the world. These aren't super valuable, they're just hybrids. And same with this next tank. These are all just hybrid peacocks, nothing important, but luckily no issues at all. I haven't lost, I think, more than maybe one in any of these tanks for the first batch that we brought over, the ones I just showed you. But they're all doing excellent, doing great in this water. These males were all in like 20 or 40 gallons, so as soon as I put them in these bigger tanks, they started coloring up like crazy. And they grew like crazy too. These were like 2.5 inches, the biggest, and now that male is pushing 4 inches in a month. So they're ready for a bigger tank, and then they had a very big growth spurt. And I think he's been breeding with some of the females too in there. But like I said, with the other tanks, I'll be selling these hybrids dirt cheap too on the website. So if you're just looking for color and cheap fish, those will be a good option for some people. These are Fireline Melotos. I just brought these over last week. There's a really nice male right there. The body gets really dark black slash blue, and then they get a white blaze in their head. Not as big as a ivory head Lacoma, Meloto Lacoma, or a Lupingu. But I think he bred with one female so far. I think this one right there. She should be holding. A lot of these fish you'll see were in much smaller tanks, so they were very happy to go into these bigger tanks. So they either grew really fast right away, big growth spurt. They either started coloring up like crazy, or they just started breeding like crazy. Just a tank size bigger will make the difference when it comes to those things. That's why we try to give them as big of a tank as possible when we have the room. We've just been limited with the other facility. But now we've got a lot more room than we need for a while. I don't even have 5% of the tanks set up, filled with water and with fish. But got nigrivenners here, along with a few Hawkliceps. These guys are little, only around 2.5 inches, so they got a long ways to grow. They're growing. And then some little Venustus, doing excellent. Begging for food. At the very end of the video, I'm going to do a quick feed, walk around and feed them all. But that's how you know the fish are happy, when they're doing that. That's it for this side. I'm just going to show you the only 750 gallon we filled up with fish so far is this one here. The other ones, I got like 5 with water, but this is the only one that I got fish in there. But I've got some Mallory, Chidunga, red blue peacocks. Look at them right there, they're squaring off. You see that? That's cool. Look at them go. Oh, they're going at it. Showing each other who's the boss. These went from a 75 gallon tank to a 750 gallon tank. So 10 times the water volume. And then square foot wise, I think they got more than 10 times. But they just got so much more room now, so they've really just exploded with color, just much more active going around. You can see they're squaring up to each other because they're trying to reestablish their hierarchy and dominance in this tank now. But when you give them a big tank like this, you can have a lot more males, smaller males, color up at once. I only had like 5 colored up when I put them in here, and now I've got, oh shoot, like 15. And then not to mention subdominant ones. I can see all the subdominant ones coloring up already. But they see me now watching them, so they're going back to schooling and aren't gonna be fighting with each other until I go away. So I'll go ahead and leave them alone. It was cool to see them showing off to each other. I'm sure they're gonna be fighting for the females in there. Bicolor. Got some stud little males in here. I've got plenty of bigger ones at the other facility that we've been selling, and I got plenty growing up, so I brought over a batch over here to let them get some size to them. Tank's a little dirty. I got to bring over an algae scraper, scrubber, and then plecos. This tank needs a pleco. Down here, we've got some Buco spectabilis. These guys I may end up putting into one of the 750s. I moved them from a 75 gallon into this vat, and they've been growing. They've been growing to take up this vat pretty quickly, so I think I'd like to give them some more room. But the males aren't colored up quite yet. They're just about there, but some are like 4.5 inches at most. But I've got quite a few in there. I was a good spawn I was able to keep. Here, not much in this tank. Some OB Red Empress females. One little male coloring up. And then another Venustus Taiwan cross. I'll end up selling him soon, and then selling these females. Some Malawi Hawk. Put about 50 in this tank. They came out of a 40 gallon. But they're little, like 2.5 inches. They've got a long ways to go. Malawi trout. These are some we bred and raised. And then some Conophoris, Achenga. Right there. They'll be going into a vat within the next 2 months or so. Here's the other tank of Fuscos I said I had. I've got a lot in here. I think at least 100, but some of the males have been coloring up real nice. Yeah, right there, right there. They're hungry. I'm nipping at my fingers. They'll be ready for sale soon. I like to get them a little closer to 4.5 inches or bigger before selling them. These are a little rare hap, Spalopterus yellow. You don't see these very often. None of these have been fed today, so they're all coming up saying hello, looking for food. I'll end up making a breeder group from these guys, but I'll have some males probably for sale within the next 2 months. Just waiting on them to color up some. These are a pretty cool species that I do not see really anybody else selling. Termitochromis cambiri. There's one of the males right there. That guy right there is a little stud. Nicknamed the True Intermedius, but the not in the same family as the Tetrastigma Intermedius. There's a mix-up of names, from my understanding. Like I call the Autopharynx Tetrastigma, but some people call it the Intermedius. I forget what they have it listed online as, but these are also considered to be the actual Intermedius. So, just a little info. But real cool species. Unless you import from Europe directly, I don't know of anybody else that has these, that's at least breeding them in the USA. But very cool. Similar to a Lethanops, I'll say. But pretty unique colors on them. Turquoise hat, marginatus. Males are beautiful for their size. Only about 4 inches. These were in a 75-gallon at the other facility with a bunch of other ones, but I took about a third from that tank and put them into this tank. But I'll be selling these real soon. The males went from looking like that there, that's a subbed-on male, to looking like that within 2 weeks. There's more trout. These are all trout in here. I'm basically out of trout, I think. I think I have one for sale ones, but I think I've got one on the website. Once that one's sold, I'll be waiting on these. Once these are bigger, they'll be the next ones that I can start selling. I think I've got like 50 in there. They're like 5 inches or so, probably the biggest ones, 4.5, 5. But I like getting them closer to 6 inches before I sell them, because they take forever to color up. So once they're 6 inches, they're a lot closer to coloring up compared to like 4 inches. And this will be the last vat I show you. Polystigma. Not a whole lot in here. There's only, I think, 20. But I'll be growing these guys up to sell. I can vent them at this size, but same with some of the other ones I mentioned. I like getting them a little bit bigger before selling them. They'll be closer to having color, or they'll have some color, and they'll just do better in your tank when they're a little bigger. They're a little more docile when they're smaller, but once you get them to 4.5, 5 inches, they do much better. And the last few tanks I have here are all babies, my fry, my juveniles. Got some Peacocks spectabilis in here. Flip around, maybe the glare will be better. Go. Still very little, inch and a half, closer to inch and a half. Peacocks spectabilis. Very cute when they're this small. I don't see a whole lot of people breeding this species right now. So, Mason Reef, the Mabuna. These fry all came out of 20 gallons. So very happy in the 75-gallon tanks they're now in. Spilostitchus, definitely a pretty rare fish. Mylochromis family, very similar to the Gracilis. If you've never seen those before, they're even rarer than these. You can really only get the Gracilis from direct imports from Europe. But I don't see many people dealing with the Spilostitchus. One of my favorite haps for sure. Very unique colors and body shaped. My groups have been breeding pretty good, so I've got some other ones that are like 5 inches at the other facility, and then I've got a few sizes in between, and then these guys, but I want these guys to start growing good. And then last, we've got some Uchillas. Uchillas thick lips. Enjoying their extra room. All these fry will be going, juvies I should say, will be going into the vats probably within 2 to 3 months, I'd say. Some of the heavier stocked ones like this that have like at least 100, they'll be going, moving over a little sooner maybe. It just depends how fast I want them to grow. So bigger tanks and more food is the way to do it. But that is it. I'm going to go ahead and feed right now. I don't do really any videos feeding, so if you've ever wondered, I will be showing you now. Hopefully one day I'll do a full facility feed on the other facility, just showing what it's like on a daily basis, just quickly feeding everybody. But I'm gonna go a little slower so you can watch them eat. It may seem like I'm feeding a lot, but then look back at this tank. I thought I put too much in this tank, and then look, there's nothing on the bottom. Any of the brown things you see is just poop, not food. They eat a lot, that's for sure. Anybody wondering how we have been bringing the fish over? I'll explain it real quick. We've been just using the totes that we usually use when we pick up fish, and then we've got big bags that we just put large batches of either, if they're smaller, 50 to 100 at a time, but something like this, we'd split up 25 in each bag, bring them over here. They're in the bag less than an hour. The other facility is only 5 minutes away, so just the time it takes to bag them up, to acclimate them, and then put them in the tank is the extent of their time in the bag. So we can put a lot more fish in one bag than we would if we were shipping them for transit for a day. Come back and do fry food for those, big fry food. Feed these guys. These guys need a lot. They're ferocious when it comes to eating. Gonna go grab the big fry food. That's it for Juvie. Hungry, hungry hippos. Munch, munch, munch. Last tank. There you have it. All the fish are fed, good to go. time for me to head out of here. Alright, well that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And if you enjoyed the feeding aspect, I don't think I've ever done this before, like I said. So if you like that, please leave a comment down below, letting me know. And if I got enough people that like it, I'll do more videos with just feeding. Maybe no talking at all, just me going around feeding fish, and then just letting you guys watch them eat. I'm sure some people would find that entertaining. So if you like that, just like I said, leave a comment down below. But thanks for watching.